Hey there and welcome back to the channel. If you're here today, you probably understand how devastating it can be to experience betrayal in a relationship. Infidelity isn't just an affair. It can shatter your self-esteem, destroy trust, and leave emotional scars that last long after the relationship ends. Sadly, cheating has become more common, and many well-meaning men find themselves blindsided by it, not seeing the warning signs before it's too late. In this video, we're going to discuss 5 types of women who may cheat and the behaviors you should be on the lookout for. Whether you're currently in a relationship or navigating the dating world, understanding these warning signs will help you protect yourself from betrayal. We're discussing some tough topics here, but the goal is not to be cynical. It's about awareness. Recognizing these traits early on can save you from unnecessary heartache and confusion. So stick around till the end, because the insights we share today can make a real difference in your relationship choices. Let's dive into these 5 types to help you stay one step ahead when protecting your emotional well-being. Type 1. The woman with low self-esteem. She walks into a room and her energy fills it fast. She flirts easily, draws attention effortlessly, and always seems to be in the center of something loud, exciting, or new. On the surface, she looks confident, alive, and even magnetic. But if you look closely and pay attention to the quiet moments when no one's watching, you'll start to see what's driving her. An ache far deeper than anyone suspects. At her core, she struggles with shame, a deep feeling of not being good enough and not being lovable unless someone else says she is. That shame doesn't always show up as sadness. It shows up in how she chases validation and needs to feel wanted almost constantly, just to quiet the voice that whispers she isn't enough. That craving becomes the lens through which she chooses, not because she's careless, but because she's trying to survive her mind. So she flirts, even when in a relationship, not because she's disloyal, but because attention numbs the pain for a while. She stays active on dating apps, even when she says she's happy, because the ping of a new message proves that she still matters. She reaches out to exes, not with love, but with a desperate need to feel seen by someone who once knew her. And when the emotional low hits hard enough, when the self-hatred drowns out the reason, she may cheat, not out of malice, but because she's looking for something that makes her feel alive again, even for a moment. Parties help her escape herself. Drinks blur the edges of her self-bimio. The highs become her medicine because the quiet feels unbearable. But these are short-term solutions to a long-term wound. No matter how many compliments she receives or people want her, it never sticks. Others do not fill the void inside her. It only disappears when she begins to face it. But most never do. If you're with a woman like this, you may feel needed at first, even adored. She pulls you in with intensity and makes you feel chosen. But over time, you'll notice it's not really about you. It's about what you represent. You're a mirror she uses to feel okay about herself. And when your reflection no longer comforts her, she'll look for another one. There's a quiet lesson. You can't be someone's peace if they're at war with themselves. You can offer stability, but she won't let it in if she doesn't believe she deserves it. And the harder you try to love her through it, the more she may push you away, not because she doesn't want love, but because she doesn't believe she's worthy of keeping it. Understanding her doesn't mean excusing her choices. It means recognizing that some people seek love not to build something real, but to cover something broken. And no matter how much you give, it may never be enough to silence what she refuses to heal. Type 2. The spoiled brat. She moves through life as if the world owes her something. It's not a conscious arrogance, but the quiet confidence of someone who's rarely been denied. From an early age, she was given what she wanted, and the idea that wanting something was reason enough to have it. Parents who smoothed every rough edge, partner who never asked for more than what she was willing to give, and a culture that praised her charm more than her character, shaped a woman who grew up unaccustomed to limits. In her eyes, boundaries are suggestions, not expectation. To the outside world, she's magnetic. She carries herself with grace, energy, and playful unpredictability that draws people in. She knows how to make you feel seen in the moment and light up a room just by walking into it. At first, it feels effortless. She mirrors your energy and responds with perfect timing, making you believe you found something rare, and in a way you have. But it's not what you think. Because beneath the surface of all that charm lies a worldview around her pleasure. Her needs, her desires, and her moods come first. Always. If a relationship begins to feel dull, predictable, or emotionally inconvenient, she doesn't reflect how she reacts. She's never had to develop the emotional stamina that love requires. Boredom to her is not something to work through, it's something to escape. That's why she might cheat not out of anger or emotional neglect, but out of curiosity, entitlement, or a desire for stimulation. And when it happens, she'll justify it with ease. She might say, "I didn't feel alive anymore," or "I needed something different," without ever stopping to think about the weight of her actions. The pain she causes doesn't register in the same way, because she was never taught to sit with consequences. To her, discomfort is a problem to be solved by change, not a signal to grow. She's not malicious. She simply believes the rules don't apply to her, because for most of her life they haven't. And so when a man enters her life and expects emotional maturity, honesty, or accountability, she resists. Not because she's cruel, but because compromise feels unnatural. She wasn't raised to consider another person's needs equal to hers, and so she interprets even gentle boundaries as criticism, rejection as a threat. This kind of woman will make you feel like a problem when introducing balance. She'll call you controlling for asking for consistency, or cold for needing space when she pulls away. She'll expect unconditional devotion but offer conditional loyalty. Love with her is not a partnership, it's a performance. One where she's the star and you're expected to adjust the lighting. But here's the hidden truth. She's not emotionally free. She's emotionally unequipped. Real intimacy requires sitting in discomfort to talk through conflict, and being present when love doesn't feel easy or exciting. She has never been asked to develop those skills. Even the best beginnings lead to unsustainable middles without them. The connection eventually fractures, not because the feelings aren't real, but because she can't handle them once they get heavy. An old line echoes through relationships like this: you can't teach someone to value what they've never had to earn. When a woman is used to getting attention without effort, validation without vulnerability, and loyalty without commitment, she doesn't learn what it takes to hold something meaningful. And no matter how much you give, or how patient or loving you are, it won't be enough to anchor her if she's still chasing the next moment that feels good. Eventually the illusion fades, and when it does, what remains is not depth but detachment. She'll leave not because you failed her, but because you asked her to show up in ways she never had before. Unless she's ready to grow out of the fantasy that love is about being endlessly fulfilled rather than consistently present, she will always walk away when the mirror stops reflecting her favorite version of herself. Type 3. The jealous and possessive one. In the beginning it may feel flattering. The way she checks in constantly is how she wants to know where you are, who you're with, and what time you'll be home. She says it's because she cares. After all, she feels connected to you. You tell yourself it's just her way of showing affection. But over time, what once felt like closeness starts to tighten around you like a grip that doesn't let go easily. It starts with small things. A glance at your phone when you're not looking. Questions that seem harmless initially. Who's she? Or why didn't you answer right away? Start coming more often. The tone shifts. There's frustration when you don't reply instantly, anger when you miss a call, and suspicion when you make plans without her. She might read your messages while you shower or scroll through your photos without asking. And when you notice, she tells you not to overreact. If you have nothing to hide, why does it bother you? But this isn't about love anymore. It's about control. And what's underneath that control is insecurity. Deep, unresolved fear that you might leave, cheat, or replace her. Instead of facing those fears directly, she projects them onto you. She treats you like you have, even when you've done nothing wrong. Over time, you start to feel guilty for simply having a life that isn't centered on her. What happens next is subtle but powerful. The more she accuses you, the more defensive you become. The more she interrogates, the more silent you grow. She believes you're pulling away because of some secret you're hiding, when you're just tired of being questioned. The emotional tension grows, not because you've betrayed her, but because she's created a climate where peace can't exist. And here's the irony. The more she tries to hold on, the faster the relationship unravels. She may not see what's happening. From her view, she's just protecting herself, guarding against the pain she's known before. But in doing so, she slowly recreates the outcome she fears most. She starts to think, he doesn't trust me anyway, or he already treats me like I've done something wrong, so what's the point of staying loyal? At that moment, betrayal begins to feel like justification, not guilt. Men in this situation often feel trapped. You try to reassure her, prove your loyalty, and be transparent. But reassurance never satisfies someone who doesn't feel secure within themselves. No matter how honest you are, it's never enough. You stop going out as much, hesitate before texting friends, and walk on eggshells, hoping to avoid another explosion. But love isn't supposed to feel like surveillance. It's not supposed to make you smaller. The danger here is psychological. When someone feels constantly accused, they believe the accusations don't matter. Trust is eroded not just from her side, but from yours too, and the emotional toll is heavy. You begin to feel alone in a relationship where you're never truly free. You're not cheating, but you're still being punished, like you are. It's a hard truth many don't want to hear. Jealousy doesn't protect love, it poisons it. It doesn't keep someone loyal, it pushes them toward what the jealousy fears. Because constant suspicion isn't a sign of love, it's a sign of inner chaos. And if left unchecked, that chaos begins to define the relationship. In the end, the love you had becomes something else. It becomes a cycle of accusation, defense, guilt, and distance. And often, when either partner realizes it, the damage has already been done. Because no one can thrive in a space where they're not trusted, and no one stays where they're always on trial. Type 4. The woman you do everything for. He thought love meant giving everything. No questions, no resistance, no boundaries, just relentless effort. He fixed her problems before she had to ask, soothed every insecurity without hesitation, and avoided conflict as it would destroy them. To him, this was loyalty, and this was devotion. He believed she'd never leave if he could be perfect enough. But perfection is not connection, and comfort without challenge becomes a trap. At first, she welcomed it. Who wouldn't? A man who anticipates her needs, praises her endlessly, and never says no. But over time, something subtle began to shift. She no longer looked at him with admiration. The gratitude faded. Her tone changed. He noticed she stopped asking for his opinion or started dismissing it when he gave it. He didn't realize that he unknowingly created a dynamic where respect couldn't grow by removing all tension, challenges, and accountability. Psychologically, when there are no consequences, a person begins to test boundaries. It's human nature. In romantic dynamics where one partner becomes more of a caretaker than an equal, the imbalance erodes attraction. She begins to see him not as a man but as a support figure, helpful something but not compelling, not strong, not solid. Over time, she stops seeing him as someone to be loyal to and begins to act as though she can do anything she wants without repercussion. It's why so many men in this position feel blindsided when infidelity enters the picture. They ask themselves in disbelief, I did everything for her. How could she betray me? But that question reveals the core misunderstanding. Love is not a transaction of comfort. You don't earn faithfulness by over-functioning. You earn it through mutual respect and emotional integrity. When a man erases all relationship friction, he removes the structure that holds desire in place. Women don't lose interest because you're kind. They lose interest when kindness comes without strength, when it's given. No matter how she behaves when a man becomes a yes man, he may win temporary approval, but he sacrifices the long-term foundation of respect. And without respect, love doesn't last. It mutates. There's an old truth. If you never say no, she'll stop asking. She stops seeing you as a partner and starts seeing you as a given, something safe, something easy. But attraction isn't built in ease, it's built in polarity. It's built into knowing your yes means something because your no is absolute. Being everything to her might feel noble, but if it costs your self-respect, boundaries, and voice, it won't make her stay. It will permit her to walk away. Type 5. The woman who feels neglected. It doesn't happen all at once. She doesn't wake up one morning and feel forgotten. It begins slowly, in the space between two people who once knew how to see each other. The man grows comfortable, thinking the relationship is safe and steady. He believes silence means stability and routine implies love. But she starts to feel it, like she's fading in a room where she once lit it up. She doesn't say anything at first. She brushes it off, telling herself he's busy, tired, and distracted. But days turn into weeks, and she starts to feel invisible. The compliments stop. The small gestures disappear. He no longer looks at her with that spark that makes her feel wanted. And what begins as confusion quietly turns into self-doubt. She wonders if she's changed, if she's less attractive, less interesting, and less valuable. And that question sits heavy in her chest. Because women don't just want love, they want to feel chosen again and again, even after the excitement fades. Attention to her emotions, presence, and needs is not about spoiling her, it's about seeing her. When that's gone, she doesn't just feel neglected, she starts to feel unworthy. She won't always speak up. Many women don't. They carry the weight of that silence while showing up daily as if nothing's wrong. But something in her changes. She becomes more withdrawn and more guarded. She may start seeking connection elsewhere, but not intentionally. A smile from a stranger, a warm conversation with a co-worker, or someone who notices what he no longer does, doesn't take much to open a crack in her heart when it's already starving for recognition. This isn't always about betrayal. Often it's about survival, about reaching for something that makes her feel alive again. Because if she's constantly in a relationship where she feels unseen, the moment someone truly sees her, it feels electric. Not because that person is better, but because they've reminded her that she still matters. The hardest part is that men rarely mean to make her feel this way. They think that comfort means commitment and that consistency is enough. But love without attention becomes quiet, and love without affirmation begins to wither. Women need clear signals that they're still wanted, not just out of habit but by choice. A quiet truth echoes in these moments. Neglect isn't always loud, but it's always felt. And when she no longer feels like someone's priority, she wonders what she's still doing in the story. Emotional connection is kept alive not by grand gestures, but by the small everyday acts of being present, choosing and noticing her. When those disappear, so does the woman you once knew. Not because she stopped loving you, but because she stopped recognizing herself in the space where she used to be seen. Conclusion. Ultimately, this video highlights the risk of betrayal and the importance of awareness, emotional responsibility, and self-respect in any relationship. Cheating doesn't happen in a vacuum. It often reflects deep psychological patterns, unmet needs, and broken boundaries. These 5 types of women aren't meant to be vilified but understood. Each represents a pattern of behavior that, if ignored, can lead to heartbreak, confusion, and emotional exhaustion for the men involved. Whether it's the woman with low self-esteem, constantly searching for validation, the entitled one who sees relationships as a means to her pleasure, the possessive partner who operates from insecurity and fear, the woman who's overly indulged without boundaries, or the one who feels unseen and emotionally neglected. Each type carries within her an emotional trigger that, when activated, may lead to infidelity. For many men, the painful truth is that these signs were present from the start. They were just overlooked, minimized, or explained away by hope, desire, or fear of being alone. And the reality is that you cannot love someone for being loyal. You cannot give so much that it stops them from seeking something or someone else. And you certainly cannot fix someone who does not see a problem with how they treat you. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, consistent emotional connection, accountability, and a shared commitment to protect each other's hearts. Without that, no amount of affection, effort, or patience will prevent betrayal from creeping in. So if you recognize any of these signs in someone you're with, or worse, if you realize that you've tolerated them for too long, know this: it is not too late to choose differently. Walking away from what isn't healthy isn't weakness, it's self-respect. Setting clear boundaries is a sign of strength and a way of protecting your emotional integrity before it's shattered. Now, I genuinely love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced one of these dynamics in a past or current relationship? What lessons did you take away from it? Your stories and insights could help someone else going through something similar, so don't hesitate to share them in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another conversation about relationships, self-worth, and emotional growth. Thanks for watching, and remember, your peace of mind, emotional safety, and future happiness are worth protecting. Always.